another day and welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan Fox and I'm a Mennonite living here in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. Goodness, I sound so formal, sorry. This is gonna be like a chatty Q&A video, but I have been having a pile of questions from you guys ever since I mentioned my Nitro Cold Brew. So I thought I'd quickly make us, well, I'll make me a cup of a nice latte. Show you how I do it in case you are wondering what's going on with it. I'm not trying to sell you on this or anything, guys. My husband got me a Nitro Cold Brew system for Christmas. It makes the best lattes, let me tell you right now, like iced lattes, like above and beyond. But I'm not trying to sell you on it because it is kind of pricey. In fact, somebody was asking me for the link and I didn't know what Josh had spent on it, and I went and looked up the link. You can get it on Amazon. And I was shocked. Anyway, so he was very generous with his Christmas present last year. But anyway, I will link it down below if you are curious. And yeah, let me just show you what it does. So last night I made a pot of cold brew. I made 6 cups, and let's just jump back to last night so you can see how I did that. So last night I just put 6 cups of cold water into my French press, and then I added 1.25 cups of coarse ground coffee grounds. You can use high quality coffee beans, you can use Folgers. Honestly, the Nitro is just gonna make it taste amazing no matter what you use, so use whatever you prefer. We like a medium roast. And then you just whisk that all up to make it, you know, make sure all the grounds are kind of soaking. And then you just put the little cap on top and set it in the fridge overnight. I try to do somewhere between 12 and 15, even 18 hours is okay in the fridge. And then in the morning, I just got it out and I pushed down the plunger, I guess we'll call it. And that just pushes all the grounds to the bottom. And it's very important that you don't have any grounds in your liquid because that will clog up the Nitro Cold Brew system. Okay, and then this morning I just made sure I put down the plunger. It was kind of soaking for about 15 hours, I think it was. So I can link this one as well. I did get a large one, it holds over 6 cups, and that's what you need to fill this up. So you can get cuter, like smaller ones on Amazon as well. This is like my 4th French press, definitely my largest one. And you don't have to use a French press to make cold brew. There's lots of other methods, but make cold brew basically. And then if you do have a Nitro system, you just pour your cold brew in, make sure that, you know, there's no grounds going in there. That will clog up the system. And yes, that has happened to me already. That is so depressing when you're excited about your Nitro Cold Brew and yeah, it doesn't even foam because it's all clogged up with grounds. So let's hope this works out fine. Okay, so I just made it all, I poured it all in. I left a little bit on the bottom. Sometimes there's some sediment and I don't want to get that in, like I said. And then I'm just gonna screw the top on. It looks like quite the contraption, but this is the straw, and then I'll just put this in here and screw it tight. Make sure it's not cross-threaded, that would be important. Okay, so we have that. Now, it's not ready yet. We're gonna have to wait at least 1 hour, which is fine because I need to go answer some DMs and some things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and charge this with Nitro. Now I have a bunch of different Nitro cartridges here. These little pods hold nitrogen in them, which is basically just like a bubbly gas. And so the white ones here have Cool Whip in them. You're still gonna want other stuff. If you don't drink black coffee, you still wanna add some stuff to it later. Or you can just have the plain Nitro pod itself. And I got these on Amazon as well. I can link them below. Well, my husband got them for me. And I'll just do a regular one. I'll drop it in here, set it on there. Twist it tight. You're gonna hear a little hiss. Hear that? It got charged up. Then I just tip it a little bit. And now I'm gonna set this in the fridge for an hour. You could do it overnight, you could do it longer, whatever, it doesn't matter. I actually just like to keep this sitting in my fridge and then have it there all week, and you just pour some out, and I'll show you how to do that, but I'm gonna let it sit an hour here and yeah, get all nitroed up. Okay, while we're waiting, I wanted to talk about something that I feel personally really passionate about, and that is that us moms need to take care of our bodies if we want to do a good job for our families and, you know, even just for our own well-being, right? So that is why I take Ritual vitamins. Ritual vitamins are the obsessively researched multivitamin reimagining health from the ground up. And they are vegan-friendly, sugar-free, non-GMO, gluten-free, and allergen-free. And and they come straight to your door. I take the prenatal vitamin, but they also have postnatal, 50 plus, men's, women's, and teen multivitamins. So they got your whole family covered. And they also now sell their essential protein as well. So you're gonna wanna check that out too. And what I love about their capsules is that they're see-through. You can see the ingredients, what's inside. There are 9 high quality nutrients, no fillers, colorants, or shady additives inside these capsules. Basically, when you open the bottle, you will see that each one has a little mint scented capsule inside there, so your vitamins smell good before you have to even swallow them. So I love how they thought through that. Their capsules come in a 100% recycled bottle, and they offset their carbon footprint. Transparency is at the core of everything that Ritual does, and they are a month-to-month subscription that right now, using my code MEGANFOX10, you can go to ritual.com/MEGANFOX10 and use my code to get 10% off your first 3 months of Ritual. Again, at ritual.com/MEGANFOX10, you use the code MEGANFOX10. So thank you, Ritual, for working with me again. I love to talk about them as I use them every day. Okay, it's been an hour. I'm excited. I have my glass of ice cubes here. I fill it half full with ice. That way it looks like I have a lot of coffee when I really don't have that much. And then I'm gonna just take my Nitro here, and I'll give you guys a close-up because it's gonna be beautiful. Look at that foam. Okay, so I pretty much just cover the ice with the cold brew and it just comes out foamy. And then I'm just gonna do some milk. Ooh, that's gorgeous. And it's gonna look a lot lighter than you're used to because of all the air bubbles in there, but it will taste strong enough, don't worry. A splash of heavy whipping cream and a generous splash of maple syrup. Okay, there it is. I'm gonna take my coffee into the sun porch and let's sit down and do our Q&A. Grab yourself a drink if you need one and let's get to it. Okay, lighting is a little bit weird, but hey, this is just a casual sit down chit chat, heart to heart Q&A. I'm excited about it and I'm just gonna film until I have to wake my kids up, or till the battery dies, I guess. So we'll see how far we get, and let me grab my phone. And of course I have way more questions that I'm gonna be able to answer right now, but I am gonna have I will put timestamps so you can kind of see what we're chatting about, because there will be a section where I talk about this pregnancy and trying to conceive and stuff like that. So I'll try to lump those all together in case you are or aren't interested in that section. But I got so many questions I was excited to chat with you guys about. And one that really spoke to my heart was tips on getting closer with ladies at church. Now I know some of you don't really have church community right now, but I am blessed to be able to go to church and to see lots of women of different ages. And I have to agree with this question. It is tough. I mean, the fact that somebody even asked that, tips on getting closer with church ladies, it's tough. I guess my advice would be, don't feel like you need to be boxed into a certain age demographic. For myself, I feel like ladies who are like my mom's age they know how to talk to people like me. They have daughters this age, and they know more what to talk about and stuff. I feel like it's women that are 10 years older than me that are sometimes harder to know what to say, but I feel like those are the women that I can learn the most from, because they just came through whatever I'm about to go through and they can still remember it. It's still fresh on their minds. They're not super much older, and it's just like kind of that big sister vibe. So I definitely think it's important. What makes it challenging with talking to women after church is the fact that there's all this small talk. And if I'm saying church, maybe ladies group or whatever you do, I think it's the fact that it takes so much time to get from the small talk to like real stuff. So if you can figure out a way to cut down on that without just saying, how was your week? It seems like a blanket statement. You could be like, were you busy this week? And then maybe ask like a more pointed question. Like, what are you looking forward to in this coming weeks? And you guys can get chatting about different areas in your life. I'm still learning on that one too, but that's a great question. Chime in down below, anybody who has some words of wisdom for getting to know ladies at church better, and just to be intentional about building those relationships. I'm curious on your thoughts on plastic surgery, filler, and Botox. I don't have a lot of thoughts on it. Praise the Lord, because it's not really something that my culture puts a lot of value in. I don't feel pressure to do it. In fact, people might look at me a little bit weird if I would admit to doing that. I'm not saying I never would. I just don't see the need to for now. I mean, I have crow's feet and stuff. I'm sure Botox would help that. But it's not where I prioritize my money. And even my thoughts, my mental thoughts and stuff. Sure, I want to look at this as best as I can, but I think I'll just give my body a fair shake and I'll just age naturally, and hopefully people like me for my personality and what I can offer rather than my looks when I'm 55, 65, 85. But yeah, I hope I can age gracefully, and I know that's a lot of decision making now that can affect that later. So no, I don't think I would do it. But yeah, that's a choice that everybody has to make. I don't think many Mennonites do, but I'm not gonna say nobody does. I mean, I would say it is important to feel confident in your own skin, but I guess you yourself have to decide what lengths you're gonna go to for that. Do you or Josh remember the first thoughts you had when you first met? This is a hysterical question because I do. I remember him, I mean, I think this is where I first actually had a conscious thought about him. He was, of all things, on a missions trip working on a roof. I'm sure his muscles were glistening with sweat. And I don't know, I just distinctly remember walking by and being like, because I saw he was like telling people what to do and stuff. I was like, why is he bossing everybody around? And my friend's like, she thinks he does that for a job, which he did. He was a roofer for a job. So he was telling people how to do it. And it was wonderful. And like, thank the Lord they had somebody with some, you know, experience. So that was my first memories of him, that he was bossing older guys around on a roof, and he was pretty muscular, but that's the first thoughts, pretty shallow. I don't know what Josh would say. Baby number 3, when's baby number 3 coming? Are you going to have more children? And I have been pretty open with the fact that I want more kids. Give me all the kids. I said it so many times in different videos, and I never knew how fast I would want to have them, or you know, anything like that. We did wait 4 years to have Evonnie after we were married. Actually a little over 4 years, and I don't regret that at all, but at the same time, I do want to have several kids, and I don't want to be an old mom, I don't think. Maybe when I'm 39, I'll be like, you know what, I want one more. I don't know. I reserve the right to change my mind, but I knew we moved to this new house, and I knew I wanted more kids, and so I am pregnant. If you missed my last video, go check that out. I am 16 weeks and 4 days as of the day if you watch this video when it goes live, and we have been trying since July of last year, and I didn't know if I really wanted to admit that. It's kind of TMI, you know, a little personal, but our first 2 kids, we got pregnant instantly, and I just want to put a message out there to all of you that think, you know, maybe you're terrified that you're gonna get pregnant so quickly because you did the first 2 times. You don't know. God is in control. I still don't know why it took so long. Maybe we were just in a stressful season of life. Last July, you know, it was kind of the middle of COVID and stuff like that. I don't know. But it took 8 months, or I had 8 cycles until I got pregnant, and it was scary. It was so scary. I'm not even gonna compare myself to all you women out there who have been trying for 10 years, 2 years, 4 years, you know, whatever. I pray for you guys all the time, that the Lord would bless you with babies in your arms, but I'm just gonna talk from my own personal experience, because I know there's people that are, you know, on the other side of the spectrum as well, and they're always afraid that they're gonna have babies too fast and whatever. I don't know. I know that was me when I first got married. I was terrified that I would get pregnant, and wow, I just realized that God has his own timetable, and yeah, we can't always know what to expect. And let me show you just a little clip of a day I found out I think I was 5 months along, and I realized that I was not pregnant yet again, and it was sad because, of course, my expectations were like, oh, it'll just happen right away, whenever, you know. So it is September 30th, but I'm gonna take a pregnancy test. I'm supposed to get my period today or tomorrow, but I have been hoping to be pregnant. I'm getting a very, very small taste of it, very short. I mean, hopefully it's short, but that's the thing. It's just this unknowing. You don't know if this is like the 4th time I'm gonna get my period, or if I'm gonna get it for, you know, 4 more years and not get pregnant. And then even if I would get pregnant, then you have to like carry it 40 weeks, and hopefully it's healthy, and like there's just so many unknowns. It's just like a continually trusting God process, and I'm not good at that. Like, I want to be in control. Sorry, I'm like shaking. I guess I can look at it now. I don't think I see a line. I mean, I see the blue line, but I don't think I see the other one. Yeah, you can't see them on camera, and I don't see it in real life either. Bummer. Yeah, that was a sad day, but obviously not near as sad as other people, so I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm just telling you my story. And then, so I'm gonna take another pregnancy test again. every month I like try something new to try to figure out how we can try to get pregnant. Like, I don't know, we got so quickly pregnant the first 2 times. I've been taking like ovulation strip testing for the last couple months. So I took an ovulation test this morning and it showed that I had like an LH surge or whatever it is, and I'm supposed to be having my period, so that seems a little weird. Anyway, so I'm going to take a pregnancy test here. I decided to talk first instead of waiting for it to be done because I'm a wreck when this thing is going. So I'm just gonna sit here and maybe read my Bible or something, and I'm gonna cover this up so I can't see it. Okay, the timer is going. I have it covered up. 15 seconds left. I don't know why I've become so like emotional. I usually like am so okay, I am emotional sometimes, but like I try to be matter of fact and like whatever and like upbeat and like look at the positive. If I don't like something about my life, I can change it. And I guess this just, oh, there it went. Okay. I'm just gonna rip the band-aid off. I'm not gonna like think about it. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna pull it off right now. I'm gonna go. I'm nervous. Oh my word, dear God. I mean, even you guys can see that, right? Like that's really obvious. I don't have any feelings. I just feel like emotional, like every emotion, like scared and happy. Listen, nobody ever tell you, I'm sorry, I need to stop crying before I talk to you guys. Nobody ever tell you that the 3rd kid is not as exciting. Like I'm just as excited, like oh my word. Oh, I was so joyful, but it didn't really like hit me too much. It really doesn't hit me until I actually tell people usually, and so yeah, it's starting to feel a little more real now. We just got to start preparing and hoping for the best. And yeah, that's me. I'm such a pessimist. My first trimester was so hard. I was so stressed out. I wasn't telling anybody yet. That's just a personal preference of mine. I just, yeah, felt really stressed out. I wasn't feeling a lot of symptoms, so I kept thinking I was losing the baby. And yeah, it was just a really lonely and stressful time. So if you are in that period of time right now, I feel for you. I pray for you. It's so exciting, but it's also really nerve-wracking too. I get it. So we got pregnant, and that means our baby is due October 31st. I'm thinking it's gonna be a November baby. I've gone 8 days late with my other 2 kids. And I've been feeling good. I've had funny cravings and stuff, which I talked about in my past video. I did have a headache here or there. I had a little bit of nausea in the mornings, but I cannot complain at all. It's been really smooth. I've been really blessed in that department. It was the same as the first 2 kids. One thing I kind of suffer with a little bit is like waking up in the middle of the night and then trying to fall back to sleep again. Yeah, I'm grateful that that is mostly gone, but I know it's gonna pick up again at the end. It always does. 3rd trimester, I always can't sleep very well. I couldn't get you guys to give me questions about my pregnancy because I didn't tell you yet when I put the call out for questions, but I'm just kind of answering some questions that my friends had asked, how I'm feeling, when I'm due. None of them really asked me how long it took to try. That would be something that would be a little personal, but I decided I wanted to let you guys know just in case you're in the same boat, the same situation. And yes, I pray that this is not my last baby. If the Lord wills, I would love to have more as long as I can handle them, but we take one at a time and make the decisions as they come. And I'm just gonna cherish and hang on to this pregnancy and enjoy everything about it, or try to enjoy everything about it, birth and all that stuff. And yeah, just really appreciate the fact that I can go along for the ride for this amazing miracle. It's so crazy. I don't know, I'm not knocking anybody that's watching that's not a Christian, but how can mothers who carry a baby, a life inside of them, not believe in a God? It's just, I don't get it. Like, I'm trying to explain to Evonnie how it works, like the baby in there and stuff, and my mind is blown every time. Like, I don't understand it at all. It's amazing, it's a miracle, and I'm honored to be a part of it.
Mommy has a surprise for you.
Listen, what do you think about babies? Do you like babies? You know what? There's a baby in Mommy's belly.
No.
I'm serious. Oh, Fletcher, what's wrong? Is your hand falling asleep? Oh, is your hand falling asleep?
No, why don't you have no fat there?
No fat where?
In your belly.
Well, the baby's really, really little. It's really little, and it's gonna take a long time to grow.
How did you get it in?
Well, Mommy and Daddy were praying for a long time for a baby to come.
And then how did it come?
Should we tell Fletcher? It didn't come yet. We have to wait for it to
No,
come.
how did it come to you?
How did it come to me?
Mm.
Well, Josh, how did it come?
How
It's
did
a
you
gift
get the
from
part of the belly there?
See, I went to the doctor, and the doctor listened to the heartbeat. Should I show you the picture of the baby? It doesn't really look like a baby yet. It's just really tiny. Do you want to see it? It looks kind of like a gummy bear.
Yeah.
We don't even know if it's a boy or a girl yet.
Can they see it?
You want to see the picture? Now listen, nobody knows about it. It's a secret.
Look. You see this? It's a picture of the baby in Mommy's belly. It's a little
This
head.
is just water. See, it's swimming inside, water inside. But look, turn it around. This picture's better. Look, these are all pictures of the baby. But if you look here, these little dots here are the little hands. He's like this, or she. You don't know if it's a boy or a girl. And that's a little face. And we're gonna go get another picture of it in about 7 weeks.
No.
And then we can see the face of it.
Where's the baby?
This is all the baby, right here. This is the baby. You can't really tell what it is yet. This is the head and this is the body. See, there's no lights inside my belly, so it's hard to see it. That's why it's black and white. Anyway, I'm not gonna probably talk about pregnancy symptoms and stuff like that too much unless I tack them on at the end of like day in the life videos or something, and I can see if you guys are actually interested in them. If you're not, that's totally fine. I'm probably gonna keep my content pretty much the same on here, but it is part of my life now, so you'll hear me mention it here and there, and I'll start to look a little bigger after a while, so now you know. It is cool to know that you guys know, and now you guys can pray for me. Boy, I was so tired the first trimester, so honestly, when I was supposed to be filming this Q&A, I was like, I just want to lay down and take a nap, but I also wanted to get this filmed. I wanted to chat with you all while I had some thoughts on my mind. Okay, back to the Instagram questions again. What is your advice for a small business owner getting started? I'm not a risk taker, so my advice would be start small and throw a lot of things out while you're small, and see what fails and what doesn't. Try a bunch of different ideas and see what people are liking and resonating with, and then kind of go that direction. That's kind of what we've been trying to do with Fox Sparrow, our robes, our candles. They seem to really be really good sellers, our bags, things like that. But then certain things are not as great sellers, and so we maybe don't repeat them again. Where do you buy your head coverings? I know you had said in a video. Yes, I will put the video up here where I talk about that, and also try to remember to link down below. I get them from Joyce's Coverings and Veils. Not a question, but I want to see your office already. I know, me too. I'm still waiting on some artwork and some things like that, and I kind of want to decorate it and finish it up with you guys maybe. We'll see if that works out. But yeah, the mail is being really slow lately. What's the biggest difference between having one kid and having two kids? Well, it's a lot more fun having two kids when they're 2 and 3. They play together so well. In fact, Evonnie's helping me with potty training, and like, oh my goodness, they're perfect little sidekicks for each other. But their personalities also, I think, mesh pretty good together. Like, they play pretty well. It could be the age. Like, they could be fighting like cats and dogs in 6 weeks. I don't know. But right now, they're getting along awesome, and I love it. And yeah, they're never lonely. It's more work. Obviously, it slows you down, but you won't think about it right away. Like, you'll have a newborn that feels like tons of work, and then after that it gets slowly a little bit easier. You know, they get a little bit more independent over time, and so I know that it takes me a while to get out the door, but I don't even think about it because this is just my life and it doesn't really bother me. Why should I vacation in Lancaster County, PA? Well, you should vacation in Lancaster County because it is like the most beautiful area. The traffic is horrible. Like, the roads are not great condition. They're always doing construction on them all the time. That part's not great, but other than that, the food's amazing. The people are friendly, I would hope. Yeah, there's just a lot. There's something for everybody, I think, in Lancaster County. Like, anybody could come and find something they enjoy, whether it's like the more like hip scene in Lancaster City or just like the laid back countryside of Amish country. There's antiquing. Yeah, it's just a whole culture in itself. And I know that I can't really see that since I grew up here, but I think if you were a foreigner or like not from around here, you would see that even more, and it's just really quaint. It's a really cute area, and I have a highlight bubble on my Instagram page of places I recommend, so I highly recommend checking that out, especially like the food, and just like even free places to go with kids. Yeah, it's a beautiful area, and I'm glad to live here. I would possibly move if it wasn't for all my family being around here. I would possibly move. I think Utah looks gorgeous. Wow, and there's lots of like family people out there and stuff too, but right now Lancaster is where we're at, and we're liking it a lot, except for except for the crazy traffic. And never mind, I won't get politics involved. Okay, I'm getting a lot of questions that I addressed in other Q&As, so definitely check out my Q&A playlist and you'll find a lot more answers about Mennonites and things like that. I don't want to repeat myself too much. Did you breastfeed your babies? If so, how long? Yes, I did. 9 months and a year. And I stopped at 9 months for Evonnie because I wanted to get my period back so I could get pregnant again because I wanted my first 2 kids close together because that's how me and my brother were, which sounds nuts, I know, but 18 months apart, I highly recommend it. It's hard at the beginning, and I would say that I've been reaping the benefits for the past year. Like, they've been so fun being close together in age. Yeah. It's a little scary to think about actually doing that, but the reward pays off later, I think. More meal ideas, please. Ooh, yes. I try to include a recipe in every video I did today. It doesn't happen every time, but I try to share recipes as often as I can. This week we had a taco salad bar. We had cheesesteaks. We had, well, my last video you just saw, I included the cheesesteak recipe. I would say get your grill out if you have a grill and just grill up some chicken and throw it with a salad. Caesar salad is so good with chicken. Yeah, I'll have to do another food video very soon. Would you honestly rather your next baby be a boy or a girl? How do you know I'm pregnant, girl? She must have just asked. I don't know. I think I said this in my last video. I prefer a girl just so that Evonnie has a sister close in age. But if it was a boy, then Fletcher would have a brother that's really close in age with him, and then me and Evonnie would just be best buds. So, also, I really love my girl's name, though. I only have one of each. I have no backups at all. I don't know. I'm glad I don't have to pick. Honestly, God knows best. I'm just praying for a healthy baby so hard. How old are you? I am 28. Why do you think there are so many people wanting to convert to Mennonite? Well, I don't think there's a lot of people wanting to convert to Mennonite, but I think like the awareness is becoming, like, people are learning who the Mennonites are, and there is something attractive about our lifestyle. But I hesitate to like really push people to like become Mennonites because it is partly a culture thing that you will never, no matter how hard you try, totally assimilate into that, which is completely fine unless it's gonna bother you, which I'm guessing it would a little bit, because there's just some things we do that are weird or like just different, and like if you weren't born into it, it's kind of like hard to grasp, which is fine. It's culture. As long as us Mennonites know what is culture and what is scripture, and that is sometimes kind of convoluted, and we kind of bash people over the head with our culture instead of like biblical principles, and that's a real danger of us Mennonites. We want to stand for truth, but we have to make sure we're not standing for truth plus, as in like we're standing for truth plus all these little add-ons that we've done over the years. But that being said, if you feel called to maybe possibly pursue that further, I would say find a Mennonite church in your area, see what you think. Maybe ask the preachers, so what is different about what you guys believe over what we believe? And I can put a website down below, biblicalmennonite.com or .org, and it will tell you like our core beliefs and stuff. And a lot of them are the same as like mainstream Christians, but we are pretty fundamental in like believing what the Bible says, face value, and we try to apply those things as best we know how. Obviously, I think we have a good thing going, but obviously every group thinks that. I think that I would lose a lot if I left the Mennonite faith, like just some benefits and things. It's just a wonderful lifestyle, close-knit community, but it's not the only way. It really is not. And I'm really proud that I get to shine the light on our lifestyle and our beliefs, but I don't want anybody to feel pressured that I think that you have to be a Mennonite or you're just a little bit less than. That's not what I think. But yeah, I don't know why people are more interested in the Mennonites, except I think we're getting a little bit more exposure, and hopefully accurate exposure, not the stuff that TV used to try to portray us as 10 years ago. Just curious, do you speak a second language fluently? No, I don't, and I wish I did. I really wish I did. I wish I played more instruments, and I wish I spoke more languages. Can you talk more about being a reluctant stay-at-home mom? Was the identity shift hard? That would make a whole video. That's kind of my identity a little bit. I put that out here, how I was very reluctant to be a stay-at-home mom. I dreaded it, actually. I didn't want to give up my career as a teacher, but I also didn't want to die lonely. Like, that's literally how I thought. I'm like, well, if I don't have kids, then I'll just be like this. It'll just be me and Josh forever, and then I'll die, and that'll be that. I think there's a part of us that wants to continue and pass things on to the next generation, and I had that, but that's about it. Other than that, I had no desire for any of that mom life stuff, and now I love it so much. Praise the Lord that I just went ahead and went for it, and didn't just go on my feelings. But yeah, I should make a whole video about that because I know it's hard, and I realize now, being open about my horrible feelings that I had, that there's a lot of other people that have those same feelings. Advice on staying pure until marriage. That's hard if you don't have a good set of friends. I had great peer pressure. We both did. That's just not something that we even considered doing. We kept our physical, like, physical touch, I guess, to a minimum. I actually didn't kiss him until 20 days before we were married. I'm not saying that you have to do it that way. We held hands like after we officially were dating, after we'd been together 6 months. And I gave him his first hug after we were together a whole year and a half. I held out pretty long for that. But you know what? I don't regret any of it, but I'm not saying you have to do it that strictly either. And Mennonites, at least my group of Mennonites that I was with, we did not do the whole chaperoning thing, so we had plenty of time by ourselves. We were both the oldest, and we felt that responsibility to be a good example. And yeah, I feel like that's been such a blessing, having that like good past without lots of, shame involved. But God is bigger than any shame you might have had from your past too. Advice on staying pure. Yeah, I would just say if you can't trust yourselves alone, don't be alone, and make sure you're on the same page, and try to have good friends that also have the same standards that you have. Advice for when toddler tantrums are at their peak. Always happens in public. Oh, I feel for you so much. Oh my word, that lighting is bad. There, I'm gonna adjust that. The lighting was really bad. I feel for you so much. That is so hard when it's in public because you don't really, you can't just sit down there in the shopping cart and explain to them what they're doing wrong and why, and you know what I mean? You just kind of have to get out of the situation. You have to start young, first of all, definitely nip anything in the bud right off the bat, because when they're little and quiet and screeching, it's easier to silence them than when they're bigger and louder and screeching and the whole store can hear, you know what I mean? So if you start small and try to remain calm, that's hard, I know. My kids do great with shopping for the most part, but I've taken them from a young age, and almost all the advice that people ask me about that I feel like I have a decent handle on. There's a lot of things I don't have a decent handle on, do not get me wrong, but the things I feel like I'm doing good, it all stems back to that I started back when they were young. So that's kind of discouraging advice if your kids aren't, under a year old and you're trying to start and they're 4 or whatever. But yeah, I would say also something that helps me is when you're at home and they're acting out and it's just easy to snap at them or yell or whatever, even then get absolutely quiet. I always say deadly quiet, and just look them in the eyes and tell them exactly what's going to happen. Ask them, will you please go do whatever you asked to again, whatever, and make sure they're looking at you, and do that consistently, and they'll know that you mean business without the yelling and stuff, because if you condition them to wait for the yelling at home, they're gonna wait for the yelling in public as well, and you don't wanna do that, right? I mean, we shouldn't wanna do that at home either, so that's what I try to tell myself. That's something that I kind of learned with school teaching too. Obviously, you're not gonna yell at your students, but if you get quiet, they perk their ears up and they listen. So that's another little piece of advice. But I hate giving advice because then it sounds like I have it all together, which I do not. If you ever run into me in public, I always am I hope my children are being well behaved, because it doesn't always happen. I would love to know some of Evonnie's favorite toys and activities. Yes, okay, so Evonnie is 3. Her favorite things right now are coloring with markers. She feels like a big girl then. Listening to audiobooks, flipping the pages. She's just learning to do that. Biking. She loves biking. Play-Doh and anything messy, crafty she loves to do. And she loves her spray bottle and cleaning. Those are just some things that pop to the top of my head. And I try to give her chores and try to make them sound fun. That's always a little bit of a challenge. What is your favorite pastime when there's spare time? This is so funny. Me and Josh actually have fights about this all the time. He thinks I need a hobby, and I think I need a hobby too, but my thing is this. I don't want to, okay, so if he gets some free time, he would just go off to the driving range by himself and hit some golf balls. For me, I don't really have fun. I can have fun. I can have some quiet time by myself when the kids are napping. I work solo on my computer while they're napping, and that's kind of my quiet time. It's not relaxing, but it is I'm quiet, I'm by myself. But I told Josh his equivalent of getting to go out and go golfing for me is family time. Family time for me, specific, not working, with this beautiful weather outside, just going biking together, hiking, going out for supper. Anything family time is my favorite thing on the list. That fills me up. Yes, I need my friends and stuff too, but I don't know. I feel like I'm at such a hard stage of life to really deeply connect with friends because we all have our kids with us. And I guess maybe we all need to prioritize getting babysitters more and doing girls things, which we are. We're gonna go down to, did I just whistle? We are going down to IKEA and Malvern Buttery and Trader Joe's, like taking a girls trip. And that will be fun. I'm hoping we can connect on more of a deeper level and not just talk about babies and like surface level stuff the whole time. But yeah, I think that's, like I have a lot of friends I can hang out with, but I just feel like often we're hanging out with kids. And so I don't know, I guess I don't always feel like it's always life-giving, especially if there's just like children everywhere. You know, your own children can stress you out. Try having your children plus a bunch of other children who you have no control over because they're not your kids, you know? So that's not always super like life-giving to me. So I guess family time just feels like such a nice pastime, anything active with my family. And it's really hard to make spare time for that because it takes a while. I used to love to read. Don't really have time for that anymore, but I've replaced that with my AirPod and I can like listen to audiobooks while I'm working, so that helps. I'm purposely making this video long. Have you guys noticed? I've been doing short videos lately, and that might have been one way you realize that I might have dropped some hints that I was pregnant. Another hint you might have noticed was that I was eating breakfast early in the morning for that morning routine video. Yeah, I was trying to be sneaky, but if you were really perceptive, you might have picked some stuff up. Also, how has COVID changed you or the way you think and do things? Okay. This is probably not what you're expecting me to say, but I feel like Mennonites, for the most part, we've always been conditioned like right and wrong. And I think we've learned through COVID, like, wow, Mennonites think on both camps in both ways, you know, how locked down we should be and how, like, yeah, just there's so many varying opinions even among the Mennonites. And it made me realize that there's a lot of, I don't want to say gray areas, but there's a lot of like room to be in where you fall in like all kinds of situations, not just like a global pandemic, but all kinds of stuff where maybe I'm right, but maybe they're also right in their own way. And so, yeah, it made me realize that a little bit, but it also made me realize too that I need to, the things that I do know are truth, I need to stand for them and stand on them, even if it's tough. What ministries does your church have to serve the community? Okay, without giving about too much away of my church location, we are in a town that has a lot of people in it, a lot of like lower middle class, lower class even, and we try to plug into the ministries that are already in our town instead of starting a whole new one. Like, we don't have to just help out Mennonite organizations, right? We can help out, there was a ministry, a couple ministries actually in the town where my church is, and we are trying to plug into that. We do prayer walking. We have not done summer Bible school yet. I don't know if that's a plan or not. For me right now, I feel like that's something I could do better in. It's just with little kids, it ties you down a little bit sometimes. They do things that like over nap time and stuff like that. And so it makes it a little bit hard. But yeah, that's kind of what we do for the local community. And then there's of course other things that are further outreach as well. Who are your favorite YouTubers? And who would you recommend? Okay, as long as you guys understand that if I recommend somebody, it's not like I'm saying I love every single thing about them, which I got a DM from somebody who told me that they could no longer follow me because of like one little issue I disagreed with them on. And that's fine. If you don't want to follow me, that's totally fine. But I was like, your world is going to be very, very small if you have to agree with a person on like everything. Like, wow. And so I try to spit out the bones, but take the good parts from different YouTubers and stuff. And I feel like YouTube has really expanded my community of women. And I love YouTube. It's my favorite like way to like veg or like take in videos and stuff like that. I love YouTube. So some people that immediately pop into my head would be, I just discovered through Natalie Bennett. Natalie Bennett would be one channel, but I just discovered through her, she mentioned Allison Bickerstaff. Her videos are so beautiful and like her life is so unattainable compared to mine, but I love it. It does not stress me out at all. Like watching her videos makes me like, like I think she just sees the beauty in life and it makes me try to see the beauty in my own life. Somebody else I recommend would be The Minimal Mom. She's taught me so much in the last 6 months. I've just recently got onto her. Of course, there's people that I've been following for years and years, and I hate to give a list because then I leave people out. But I've been recently, people are telling me about different Mennonite YouTubers and stuff, so I need to start like subscribing to new people and start learning to get to know some people in my own niche. Me and Lynette Yoder, of course, have always been good friends, but there's others of us out there that I don't really watch too much or know about. So I want to do that as well. But I love watching people that their lives are not like me at all. Like, I find that so fascinating. I love watching Our Tribe of Many. They have like a bunch of kids, so she makes me think, wow, I can never complain about my life, because she just holds it all together with, like, I think they're having 10 kids now, or 12. I think it actually is 12. And Angela Braniff, I like her personal channel. She's so chatty, and I just love listening to chatty videos while I work. Definitely, I think you guys would enjoy her. And she has a family channel where they talk about their homestead a lot and stuff. So if you're into like farming and that kind of stuff, you would probably definitely like her vlogs. Are you enrolling Evonnie in preschool? Okay, I am struggling with this a little bit. Evonnie she will turn 5 in September. So that means if I would send her when she's 5 to kindergarten, that means she'd be 4 for a little bit. I'm like, no, I can't do that. Like, that's too young. But she would love it. Like, she would love it. The learning part especially, she'd be fine with. I don't know about the social stuff, like, just because there's certain things teachers look for that are not just the intellectual stuff, it's like social things as well. So I would love to almost, if I'm gonna wait to send her to kindergarten until she's 5, almost 6, I would love to find something for her to do that year before kindergarten, just like 1 or 2 days a week, but I don't really know of anything. I guess I should look into what my local school district offers, but I think a lot of their stuff for like their 5-year-olds is like every day, and I don't want to do that. I don't know. I just think she would enjoy it. I know that, but I don't know. I'll just have to try to keep doing some homeschooling with her at home like I'm doing now. Do you have a seasonal wardrobe? I wanted to talk about this. I wanted to address the fact that I feel like I do have a lot of clothes right now, just because I've been working with different brands. I've been buying things I love to check out Amazon recommendations and stuff to see if there's anything like this dress here. I recommended this to you in my last video. I really love it. I wear it a lot. And I feel like it's pretty good quality. And so I'm always trying to experiment and rotate things through and stuff like that. But then it also, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, my lifestyle was not like that. I would wear the same thing forever. And I still have pieces like that I wear forever. But I do kind of like move things through a little more. And I still haven't decided how I want to address that, because I told myself when I started YouTube that, or I shouldn't say that, I told myself when I started making some money off of YouTube that YouTube was going to be something that was like an asset to my children's future, not anything to make our current lives better. Like Josh pays for all the stuff, house renovations and things like that. And I want to keep it that way. I don't want my lifestyle to like creep up. We have a very comfortable lifestyle. Like, we're very blessed. Even if we feel stressed out sometimes, like with money and things like that, it's because, yeah, we're young yet, and we see all the expenses coming in our future. You know, now we have to buy a minivan. You know, that's not cheap. Another baby is never cheap either. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I always vowed that I would never have anything that we couldn't have if I didn't do YouTube. And so far that's how we've been living. But I feel like my clothing area has changed a little bit just because of doing YouTube. I feel like I like to test out clothes and show you guys different hauls and stuff like that. So I haven't decided what I want to do with my like clothes that I pass on. Do I sell them and then donate the money to charity, or do I find like I can't do like a women's shelter, because a lot of the stuff is like specific for Mennonites, you know, or it's like, you know, a kind of a specific style, dresses and skirts and stuff. So I haven't decided what I'm going to do. If anybody has any really good ideas, I do feel a little bit guilty about it. Maybe I shouldn't feel guilty about it, but I do feel a little bit guilty about the fact that my clothing lifestyle is a little bit different than it was 2 years ago. But I call it research. But yeah, that's something I've been aware of lately and thinking about. If you could be anything and do anything, what would you be and what would you do? I would do exactly what I'm doing now. I would be a better wife and a better mother, of course, like the perfect mom and the perfect wife, right? But I would also have an extra day in my week to do nothing. Like, if I could do that, if I could get a wish, I would love if there was 8 days in a week, and that 8th day was purely, yeah, just another day in the week. I think that would be just so nice. I feel too busy, I guess is what I should say. I wish I had a little bit more margin in my life. I wish I had time to lay down and take a nap in the afternoons. And so since I can't gain a day in a week, I need to start thinking about what I can cut back on. Making shorter YouTube videos was something I did there for a little bit when I was really sleepy and tired, and I don't regret that at all, but I don't want to make that a long-term thing. Like, I like the long-form videos. Are you pregnant? People keep asking. You guys must have sniffed this out. I must not have been as sneaky as I thought. Is fox sparrow profitable? It is profitable, but yeah, there's a different set of challenges when you're trying to work with handmade products. Like, you can't do mass scale, and I'm kind of limited to the talent that I can find. So if I have a mom who wants to, you know, make something for me, oftentimes they can't. If I have a hot selling item, you know, they can't keep up, especially if it's like hand sewn or whatever, you know, handmade. So that presents a challenge in itself. So I don't know. I definitely want to kind of change it up a little bit in the coming year. I'm not sure how. If that looks like scaling it and making it like bigger yet, I don't know. Like, it could be really exciting. I'm not sure yet where I want to go, but I think the key to making it really successful would be finding women that already have businesses, they already have talents, and I could just commission them to make products for my website. But finding people that have the time for that and the skills for that is a challenge. Do you also remain modestly dressed during childbirth? Don't ask, and I'm not gonna tell. You just get the job done when you're having a baby, okay? But I'm a very private person, so I try to be as modest as much as possible. Going to the OBGYN has always like stressed me out. It's still, I don't enjoy it, like all the invasive examining and stuff, but I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? I got a couple questions about Mennonites and dancing. Does your church allow your patrons to dance? Do you guys dance? Dancing is not a part of the Mennonite culture. Again, I don't think, like I'm sure there are some Mennonites that would say dancing is wrong. But I think that's more of a culture thing. Again, it's an easy thing to place a line, like we don't dance at weddings, we don't dance, you know, like I guess is that kind of the only, we don't go clubbing. So obviously we're not dancing there or anything like that because we don't believe in like the whole dating scene and like getting drunk and that kind of stuff. So that takes care of that. But like, I guess where else would you dance? At weddings, right? And we don't do that. And I think that, you know, just stems from the fact that there's a lot of dancing that is vulgar or just like not modest, I guess is the word, whatever. And so it's just easy to say no dancing at all. But I know like David danced in the Bible to worship God. I know that has a great place. It's a culture thing it comes down to. I'm not saying that you shouldn't dance to worship God, or it's definitely a culture thing that stems from biblical principles. You know, we try to draw lines with like physical touch of the opposite gender and stuff like that. But yeah, that's again a muddled thing. You know, which part is scripture and which part is tradition, culture, you know. So to each their own, I guess. But yeah, we don't, I mean, for the most part, Mennonites, actually, I would say for 100%, like any conservative group that has like that wears a head covering probably is not dancing. How do you feel about non-Christian folk? I kind of a real privilege to speak to women that are not Christians, but I guess for myself, I know how much Jesus has changed my life, and I know where I'm going afterwards, and I'm not really sure, you know, after this life, and I'm not really sure how people that are not Christians even cope with life. And I pray, like my heart would desire anybody who's watching this that's not a Christian to become one. But I understand too that everybody has to take their own path. And a lot of people out there have like real wounds from the churches in the past and like the whole church culture and stuff. And so I think there's a lot of work that we need to do to evangelize to non-Christians, but in a like the way Jesus would do it. And so I count it an honor if you're watching and you're not a Christian, but my heart's desire would be that you would be a sister in Christ someday. Somebody asked about my skincare routine. I will link that up here, or here. Yeah, it's been working for me. My skin is so nice right now. What do you guys think? And I don't know, like it was really bad 2 weeks ago, so I guess that's why I'm appreciating it now. But I've learned that it's just hormones a lot of times on my skin. Quiet time routine, somebody asked. I just showed that in my morning routine video, so definitely go watch that one. I show it more in depth. Your favorite springtime meal? That would have to be strawberry, feta, almond, spinach salad. You know what I'm talking about? Like with the balsamic dressing on it. So good when there's fresh strawberries in season. I could eat it for morning, noon, and night for sure. If you were not Mennonite, which religion do you think is in line with your beliefs? Well, Christian, obviously. Yeah, Mennonites are Christians. I hope that line isn't too blurred. Tips on switching from wearing pants into exclusively dresses and skirts. That's a little bit tricky, I'm sure. One thing I would say is probably makes it easier would be to wear longer dresses at first. Like I can wear like a knee-length skirt and you know, I know how to sit right in a knee-length skirt and stuff like that. But if you're going straight from pants and like there's a certain freedom of movement when you're wearing pants that you don't have with, you know, like a pencil skirt or something. So maybe like more flowy dresses like the one I'm wearing now, which I know you can't see it, but maybe you can remember how it looked earlier. That would probably make it a lot easier. And I would say get some dresses that are still in your style, that you still think are pretty and nice and functional. And don't like try to wear dressy dresses for every day. It's not gonna work, like having all that gauze and like thin lining and stuff. It's gonna drive you nuts and you're not gonna stick with it. You're gonna go right back to pants again. Try more serviceable fabrics at first. How many cups of coffee do you normally have a week? Wait, a week or a day? This is a day. A day, I would say 1/3 of a cup because I don't drink coffee every day. I would say I have coffee maybe 3 times a week, whether I'm pregnant or not. And then it's always diluted with lots of milk and cream and ice and, you know, maple syrup and stuff. It's not the healthiest, my coffee, so I limit them to kind of like a desserty type of status. So yeah, and that's also makes it easy then when I become pregnant that I don't have to watch my caffeine too much because I'm already not drinking a ton. Could you do a meal planning video? I already did. Do Mennonites and Amish wear eye contacts? Absolutely. I mean, I do. I think, would Amish not? I guess now that I think about it, a lot of them do wear glasses. I don't know. Somebody comment down below if you're old order Amish or know somebody, like know more about that culture, let us know. Do you guys wear contacts? I'm not sure. Mennonites do. Okay, I have one last question that I think is a really good one. Did you ever question the practices associated with your culture? And absolutely, I think every teenager does, every young adult does. You know, there's still things that I question now. I kind of have a rebellious spirit sometimes, or like a cantankerous ornery, like, you know, when somebody says it's always this way, then I think, well, what about when it's not this way? You know, and I can be argumentative just for the sake of being argumentative sometimes. Like me and Josh like to debate and we call it fun. I don't know, it's good to think about things that matter. I don't know, it's good to, I enjoy that kind of thing, I guess, but I'm always continually, especially being a Mennonite here on YouTube with people constantly, you know, questioning things that I do or like challenging me in different areas. I always have to think about why I do or don't do what I do. And I realize there's a lot of things I don't do that are just because of culture, like the wedding ring, and like Mennonites don't traditionally wear wedding rings and stuff like that. And I think for a long time it really bugged me that we did things that weren't just necessarily in the Bible. And my father-in-law was super helpful with that, and he was saying, look, just because it's not in the Bible doesn't mean it's wrong. Like, just because we don't wear wedding rings and that's not necessarily in the Bible, it doesn't mean it's wrong to not wear a wedding ring. You don't have, like, there's lots of people that aren't even Mennonites that, you know, don't wear wedding rings and stuff like that. And so I think it's just to challenge my culture and realize that even if I do something just because it's my culture, it's okay. But now if I'm doing it and I don't really want to, and like, my heart's not in it and I have an attitude towards it, then maybe I need to go somewhere else or do something else. But like I said earlier in the video, I think the problem comes in when Mennonites are trying to hit people over the head with culture rather than scripture. And that's just something that we all have to learn and do better at, and myself included. And being on YouTube has really, really shown me a lot. And so I really thank you guys so much for being a part of my world here and for, yeah, just making me think, you know, and see things from different perspectives. I still think that my culture has a lot of value in it, a lot of merit, but like I said earlier, it's not the only way, and I'm very blessed that I was born into this culture, but we have things that are, you know, really sad about our culture as well. There's certain things in the past that were not handled correctly, and yeah, all I can do as a 21st century Mennonite is try to do my best to follow God, and I know when I get to heaven, there's gonna be so many women out there that I will get to meet for the first time in person that we might have met through a YouTube video, and that I could cry just thinking about that, how awesome that's going to be, and we're gonna look so different from each other, and wow, what a blessing. Wow, that's amazing. Anyway, I'm getting goosebumps, so I gotta go get my kids up from their naps and get some supper going. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. Check out Ritual for that awesome 10% off, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye everyone. I think it must be pregnancy hormones. Why am I crying? I mean, that is a beautiful thought, I guess, but and I was talking so much, I hardly drank any of my iced coffee. That's how it works. YouTube life.